Hello and welcome to this lecture of electromagnetic theory, where we are going to talk about the differential length, area and volume. Why we want to discuss about this thing is because in the coming lectures we will be talking about the surface charge density, volume charge density and all, where the importance of differential length and area and volume is very we are going to use it time and again. So it's very important at this moment of time to basically clarify all the concepts which we have studied earlier, but right now we are just doing the revision part of differential length, area and volume. So differential length, area and volume, all these three things can be defined differently obviously in the three coordinate system that we are going to work on: the Cartesian, the cylindrical and the spherical. So first we'll start with the Cartesian coordinate system and understand how this displacement, differential surface and differential volume is defined in this Cartesian coordinate system. So this is the diagram of a Cartesian coordinate system where we can see this square, this cube here, which is basically lying in space, and the cube has the values, the dimensions as dx in the x direction, dy in the y direction and dz. So basically this is the xyz axis and this cube is located somewhere in the space, and if you see the dimension of the cube, it is dx, dy, dz. So we have assumed it to be like this, so that when we move from one point to another, we can find out the real displacement in terms of the differential distances or displacements rather that we have assumed here. So if we move from point P to point Q, which is along the y-axis, how much are we going to move? It is dy. So if you write the displacement, differential displacement from P to Q, it will be dy ay. Similarly, if you move from R to Q, then the displacement will be dz az, and so on. If you moved along the x direction, R to C, it will be dx ax. Here what we are doing is, if we are moving in one direction only, then that particular direction will be assumed. Standing here at D, if we are standing at D at this point, then we have to move in x direction, then y direction, and then we will reach here Q. So if this is what we have dl as, the exact displacement when we are going from D to Q will be dl is equal to dx ax plus dy ay plus dz az. So it all depends where we are moving and in which direction we are moving. So now we will move ahead and understand what this differential normal surface is. So if you see in the cube that we have drawn here, there are various surfaces like A, B, C, D, P, Q, R, S, and again this surface as well, that is Q, R, B, C, Q, B, C, R, and then we have P, A, D, C, T, S. So all the 6 surfaces that we have of the cube, there is 6 surfaces. And if we want to, suppose we want to write any surface, then how to write that? So that is what we are going to do in this differential normal surface. So any of this surface can be written. So the complete information of this surface can be given by the magnitude and the direction. So here if you see, in general what we do, we write ds as ds is equal to ds, that is a vector. Let's write it a bit bold. ds vector is actually equal to ds multiplied by an. So this is an is giving the normal surface, the direction, and ds is the magnitude here. So this an, what is this an basically? So this an is a unit vector normal to the surface. So this is unit vector normal to the surface. Now, which surface are we talking of? It depends. It depends. So this direction basically depends upon which surface are we talking of. And ds obviously is the magnitude. So again, if you see here, suppose in the last, so if you see A, B, C, D. So this surface, if you take A, B, C, D into consideration, and then this plot that has been drawn here. So this one is again A, B, C, D only. So if you see here, this dy dz will give us the magnitude, and this ax is going to give us the direction to the surface. Now always we have to remember that the surface is directed away from the volume. If ds is the part of the surface describing the volume, so that means suppose we have taken ABCD, and this is the AB, this whole volume is the okay. So suppose we have this volume, this complete volume. So if you this surface will have obviously the magnitude as this one is dy, this one is dz. So dy dz is going to be magnitude. What about the direction? So direction will always be normal to the surface and directed away from the volume that we are talking of. So suppose this is the volume, so the surface will be, the normal will be like this. So that is what we have drawn. It is in the ax direction. So in the next slide we can see here we have dy dz, and this is the normal ax. Similarly, if you see this surface will have dx dz, and normal will be directed in this direction. So normal, if you see, is directed in this direction, outwards, so away from the volume. So what will be the direction in that case? Ay. So similarly, we have three directions of the surface, and obviously one, so ds is equal to dy dz ax. So three surfaces we can talk of. This one, which is directed towards the ax direction, which has the magnitudes of dy dz. Similarly, towards ay, if the normal is towards ay, away from the volume, this is dx dz. And similarly, if we are talking of the upper part of the cube, this will be dx dy, and the normal surface will be az. Again, we will just go back and see the cube. So if we are talking of this surface, then it will have a normal in az direction, and the magnitude will be dy multiplied by dx. So one more thing, if we are talking of ABCD, we understand that the normal will be directed away from the volume, so it will be ax direction. But suppose we are talking of this surface, the surface that is PQRS, then in that case, its normal will not be in this direction, rather it will be away from the volume. As I said that the surface, the normal to the surface will lie in this direction. So if you see here, it will be like directed like this, outwards. So what will be the direction in that case? It will be minus ax. So if we have to write the surface of PQRS, then in that case ds will be equal to dy dz and minus of ax direction. So this will give us the surface PQRS. So the three surfaces we are talking of is this one. So if you see carefully this equations, we'll find out is ds is equal to dy dz and ax. So whenever this normal surface is in x direction, then the magnitude contains y and z. Similarly, if the normal is in y direction, then the magnitude contains x and z. When the normal is in z direction, magnitude contains x and y. So this is something, we don't need to memorize the things, rather we understand it very nicely when we see this dl. Directly by seeing dl, we can, if we have idea about how dl looks like, then we can easily actually write the equation of ds. So here what is happening, this coefficient and this coefficient is getting multiplied when we are talking of ax. I hope you are able to understand. This ds is equal to dy dz ax, dx dz ay, dx dy az. So the three surfaces are there. The same thing we will actually apply in the case of the cylindrical coordinate and spherical. The volume will obviously, if we talk about the volume of the cube that we are here, so we talk about the volume in terms of length, breadth and height. So dx, dy and dz. So that will become the differential volume. Again, why we are talking of these differential length, area and volume? Because basically in the coming lectures we'll be dealing with some surfaces where we need to take some differential part and then integrate it. So in that case these expressions that we are finding it right now will be very helpful at that instant. So that is why we are doing it. And now we'll move on to the cylindrical coordinate system. So as in the Cartesian, we took a cube kind of thing, which was basically from one point we moved a distance of dx. From that point we moved a distance of dy along y direction. Similarly, we moved along the z direction to dz along the z direction. So it was intentionally done. So all the movements were along the direction of the axis. Similarly, this is what we are doing here also. Cylindrical coordinate system, we will stand at a point and move along the axis. So here what are the axes? So the three axes that we have here are rho, phi and z. So if we are standing here at S, to come at P, what will be the increment? D rho. Similarly, if we are standing here at P and if we want to move towards A, then what will be the increment? I mean, again the movement is along the phi direction. So this phi will change from phi to d phi. So this angle that we have written here is actually d phi. So this one was d rho, this is d phi. This angle is basically not this length, but rather the angle is d phi. And similarly, if we move from A to B or B to A, what is the distance here covered? That is dz. So you remember, when we are trying to make this blue encircled volume, we have actually moved in the direction of the axis that we have, that is moving around along rho, moving along phi and moving along z. If we move like this, we will come across, we will get a volume kind of thing. Now here we will find out the displacement vector again. So for this displacement calculation, we will again go in the same way that we had. So here if you see, if we are moving from point P, if we are moving from point S to P, suppose, then what is the direction in this case? It is d rho direction. What is the length of this? It is d rho. So if we are writing here the displacement length individually about all of them, one at a time, and then we will combine everything together. So first one will be d rho a rho. Similarly, if we are moving in this phi direction, so what is this arc length? How much we are moving in this? What is the displacement? I understand that the phi has changed from phi to phi plus del phi, and that is the angle has changed. But what about the distance that we are covering here? So the distance that we have covered in this case is, it is rho d phi. This arc length is rho d phi. So what will happen? This is rho d phi. In which direction? It is along the direction of phi. Similarly, if we are moving from A to B or B to A, what is the distance that we are covering here? It is dz along az. So the total displacement dl in the case of cylindrical coordinate system can be written as d rho a rho plus rho d phi a phi plus dz az. Now we will talk about the surfaces. As I said, first we need to identify the three displacements, and then based on that we will find out the ds. From what we have understood, or drawing the analogy of what we have understood in the ds of the Cartesian coordinate system, it says that the normal vector obviously will be, once it will be a rho, then it will be a phi, and then it will be az. These are the three normal vectors. So if you see here, if you talk about, now we have the surfaces here. So if you see here, there are surfaces. This arrow is in this direction, then the surface will be rho d phi dz. Similarly, if it is in this direction, a phi direction, then we have d rho. So this particular surfaces, the three surfaces that has been drawn here, is basically a part of this whole block that we have taken into consideration. So A, B, C surface, if you talk of, then the direction of the normal will be a phi. Similarly, if you talk of DSAP, then the surface will be AZ. Normal surface will be AZ. Now we are writing about we are going to write what will be the magnitude. So magnitude here, as it says, for a rho the magnitude will be rho d phi into dz, and that is what we have written in the case of displacement. So I am just telling you here that if we know the value of dl, we can very easily write the value of this surface also, ds, differential surface. So this is what we wrote for the displacement, rho d phi a phi plus dz az. Now we want to write ds. So as I said, when we are writing dz, the surface which has normal vector a rho, so when rho is there, we will be talking, so if rho is there, we are talking of rho, then we will take the values except rho. So leave this a rho in displacement. So rho d phi dz. This is what ds will be. We don't need to see also this thing. So this is how we remember the things. So similarly, if we want to talk of ds, which has a normal vector of a phi, suppose, so what we'll leave this component, and we'll take this and this into consideration. So what will be the surface ds here? It will be d rho dz. Similarly, if we want to write the third surface, then it will be, obviously when the normal vector is az, we are left with d rho d phi. So that will give us rho d phi d rho, and this is az. I hope this is clear. This is how what we write surface, differential surface. There is no problem with the volume. So volume is basically the multiplication of the three values that we have in the displacement directly. So here if you see, dl is equal to, dv will be equal to d rho d phi and dz, and that's what we have written here, d rho d phi and dz. So this will give us the differential volume. On the same grounds, we will talk about the spherical coordinate systems. So again, we'll go by the same steps as we did for the cylindrical and Cartesian coordinate system. So first we will make a surface with the help of like moving in the direction of the axis. So there are three coordinates in this spherical coordinate system. What are those? They are r, theta and phi. So the surface that we are going to make, the volume that we are going to make in this spherical coordinate system is by moving distance dr, by moving theta to del theta, phi by del phi. So that is the increment that we are doing in the coordinate variables, and that will lead us to a volume that is there in the spherical coordinate system. So the blue shaded region is basically the volume that is made, because if we move change the value of r to dr, change the value of r by dr, theta by d theta, and phi by d phi. So here you can see that. So here it is r, and r change is, this is dr. Similarly, here this angle is theta, and here the change again is d theta. Similarly, here we have phi, and the change here is d phi. So this whole thing, if we do the incremental changes in all the three variables, the coordinate axis, then we will come across this particular volume. Now again we will have the same way that we did the cylindrical, the Cartesian and cylindrical coordinate system. We'll find out the dimensions of this. So this will be equal to rho d phi, and this, what is this rho? This is this rho. Here we have r theta phi only. Here rho is basically connected to r with the equation rho is equal to r sine theta. This is something that we have done in the coordinate systems. So rho is equal to r sine theta. So if we find out this particular term, it is rho d phi, that is r sine theta d phi. Similarly, if we have this particular thing is r d theta. So as we did for the last two cases, on the same grounds we are going to write dl also. So if we move from this point to this point, it will be dr ar. Similarly, if we move from this point to this point, it will be r sine theta d phi along the direction a phi. Similarly, if we have r moving from this point to this point, that will be r d theta along the theta direction. So that's what we have written here. So dr ar plus r d theta a theta plus r sine theta d phi a phi. So once we have these three, we can easily write ds. What will be ds in this case? If we are talking of a surface which has a normal vector ar, then what will be the magnitude of that surface? It will be r d theta r sine theta. So that's what we can write. So this same thing has been written here in this case. So as I said, when we are writing the surface ds, which is having the normal as ar, then we multiply the two other, that is of theta and phi. So what did we see there? R sine theta d phi and r d theta. So this is what we have written here. So this becomes r square sine theta d theta d phi and ar. So this is going to help us really. Similarly, we can write the other two. If we are writing a theta, then we will be writing r sine theta d phi and dr, and the other one as well on the same grounds. Now we come across differential volume. Now it is very easy for us to write all the three things that we found in the DL case. We are going to write together to write the volume. So we can guess here that the volume is going to be equal to, so if you see here the dV, which is equal to dr r d theta r sine theta d phi. So this is what we have written here. So r square sine theta dr d theta d phi. So I hope this part is clear to all of us. So what we are doing, what is common in all the three coordinate system, that we are moving along the two, find out the differential length or volume, differential length or surface or volume. We are moving along the direction of the axis, first thing. Then we are trying to find out the dl. Whatever the values in the of the coefficient of the unit vectors are coming, that we will consider, and with that we will find out the ds. That is something that we don't need to, with the help of that, we don't need to memorize the things. We can easily write it, and we have understood the things and then only written. But we cannot every time we cannot go into the details of how they have come. So we need to have, we need to remember certain things, and in this case, if we understand this way, we will not need to memorize everything. It will automatically come to us. Now where is I'll just tell you some very basic applications of this. The first one, so we want to find out the circumference of a circle. So there is a circle. So this is circle, this is center, this is R, for calculating the circumference of the circle, we need to take the differential length first, and then we will integrate over the circle. So we have taken r, and this one angle is equal to, suppose it is equal to d phi. So what will be the arc length here? It will be r d phi. In which direction it will be? In the direction of phi. So it will be the dl length will be equal to r d phi a phi. And suppose we want to find out the value of the circumference of the circle, then what we will do? We will integrate this dl from in the whole thing. We need to integrate over the whole circle. So what we will do? We will substitute dl here. The r d phi integration. What will phi vary from? It will vary from 0 to 2 pi. That will give us 2 pi r. Similarly, I'll tell you, you can actually do it yourself, the volume of sphere. Let's do the volume of cylinder in this case, or rather we can also do volume of sphere here. So if we have a sphere in this case, sphere will have this r, and here if we assume there will be variable will be both the things. I mean, the theta will be the variable as well as phi will also be the variable. So if you go you can write this dv r square sine theta dr d theta d phi, and we'll use this equation to find out the volume of the sphere. So we have sphere here. So we have a sphere here, and let's write it down. So dv is basically equal to r square sine theta dr d theta d phi. Now we will integrate. So what are the values over which we have to integrate? It is r, theta and phi. So in a volume where this r should vary from 0 to r. Similarly, where should this theta vary from? It should vary from 0 to pi. And where should the phi vary from? 0 to 2 pi. So if you see here, if we do that, then r square sine theta dr d theta d phi, if you do this integration, triple integration over r to be 0 to r, 0 to pi and 0 to 2 pi, we will basically get the value d r square dr will give us r cube by 3, sine theta will give us minus cos theta, and phi will give us phi 0 to 2 pi. So if we substitute the value, we will get 4 by 3 pi r cube. So with the help of this these differential length, volume and surface, we can actually find out the surface area or volume of any surface of any kind of surface or a volume. So that's what the the takeaway of today's lecture is. So this is the takeaway of today's lecture, that with the help of this differential length, differential area and differential volume, we are in a position to find out the volume, surface, length of anything, and we'll later on use it in calculation of the charge and all. So thank you so much. Hope you